Hello, this is Desiree A. McNair Breedarts again. This is, I think this is Friday the 11th, or I forgot what day today's date. I didn't look at my phone, but it's Friday, and it's past the 7th. So this is Friday. The 7th was, I forgot when it was, but anyway, this is where I live. And they moved me to this room. What I wanted to say was, I have to warn people, even though I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses, I have powers that I've asked God to make wild beasts, and I have been married to Michael Jackson from 1983 through to 2007, and then my dad, who was Isaac Hayes, told me to marry someone else because he was ignoring me. He wasn't taking care of me. He wasn't coming to see me. He was ignoring me, totally ignoring me. And I was crying because I thought one time he cheated on me. Well, actually, he thought I cheated on him at first because in I was in the DMV with my second, getting ready to be my second husband. He said he came in the DMV where I happened to be. I was under a spell, and my husband Randall Breelard, said that he forgave me because he knew I was under a spell. He knew I never acted like that. We knew each other when we were little, and I believe he knew he was Sister Tucker's son. And we would go over and watch before my baby brother Joshua McNair was born. Before he was born, after when I was 13 years old, he we would go over Sister Tucker's house, and we would watch her house when her and her family were on vacation. We would stay in the house, and they had different houses they moved to. In the course of years, we would stay in their house every time. It seemed like not every time, but a lot of times they would go places. They had money, and they would go places. She reminds me of Beyonce, this woman, Angie Tucker. I'm not Angie Tucker. Yeah, Angie Tucker reminds me of Beyonce too, but she had a whole nother setting of life. But this other woman, Sister Tucker, I forgot her first name, but she had children, and she has a child that looks like Jay-Z, and I don't know what's going on, but I'm not going to try and meddle in their business. It's just that I'm saying that this guy that I married, Sister Tucker told me, you're going to marry one of my sons, when she was in one of the assemblies. Like President Bush came to an district assembly, and she came to a district assembly too. She didn't really come to the Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Halls too much, and she didn't come to anything else really good. But she would come to the district assembly sometimes in Dodger Stadium, and her children would come too with her. And this guy that Randall Breelard, I ended up marrying him after my dad told me to marry him when he saw him coming up the street one day. I had just been in doing something for LaFace Records, and I came out, and my dad was out with me, and we were at the bus stop, and my dad didn't like driving because there was somebody that was trying to get him to get in a car accident. There was somebody going after him or something. I believe they wanted him dead because of his money or something. And my dad didn't explain this stuff to me, but something was going on. But anyway, so anyway, we went to the DMV, me and my husband Randall Breelard, and this is before I married him. And what happened was a guy from Jodeci, the singer from Jodeci, Casey and JoJo. One of them, I think his name was Casey, Yeah, Casey, because I made I made a song with him where he was breaking my virginity, and when he was breaking my virginity, it felt so good to me. I was calling out his name and stuff, and they taped it, and they put it on an album that used to come on Power 106 and other radio stations for a while before the brothers said, Desiree, if you want to get baptized, you're gonna have to get that off the record, get that off the album, have them stop playing that. And so I didn't know how to stop it, really. I didn't know how. But somehow somebody stopped it from playing. They stopped it from playing because I found out later on that that Casey, had a relationship with Mary J. Blige. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. But I knew that Mary J. Blige, I guess I had seen her. I had seen her in Inglewood before. She used to come visit Inglewood from time to time. I used to see her driving with her posse. I mean, driving with her fans, and they used to go places, and I used to see them. And I saw them when I was in a class for the diabetes with my mother. She wasn't in the class, but she was outside of the building, and I saw her. I said, Mom, that's Mary J. Blige. And she said, Desiree, we got to pay attention to the class now, or something like that. And then when I came out one time, I think I said hi to her or something. I don't know. And I forgot. She told me something, but it wasn't very, I didn't know what was going on. And then I heard her say something on radio one time when I was staying in Robin Thicke's house, Robin Thicke's father's house. I was staying in his house, and she said something on the intercom, not the intercom, it wasn't didn't have an intercom in the house, but she was saying something about, Desiree, I'm gonna switch places with you or something. I don't know. It was weird. It was something, it stuck out in my mind at that time because I said, Mary J. Blige said that about me? Really? She sees me like that much? She sees me like a person? She loves me like a person that much? And then I know she can turn really cold on people that make her angry. I noticed that. But I felt happy that she had said some things. She had said some things, but I was scared too. I was scared because I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what was going on. I was staying in that man's house. He had powers, and he told me he was going to make me believe he was Jehovah. And I was saying, why? I said, you can't do that because Jehovah doesn't dwell in how many temples. I'm not going to believe it. He says, you don't believe that Jehovah could make this house with his own hands? I said, I know he could, but why would he put that in this? It's not in the Bible. Jehovah said not to add or subtract to the things in the Bible. He doesn't want to confuse us. He's love, and he wants us to believe he's love. So he's not going to try and confuse us. So he stayed. I stayed there for a while until he told me. He said, Desiree, you have to go, because I was trying to find a way to get God. I was trying to stay away from my mom. I was scared of my mom, and my dad. I don't know where he was at the time. My dad he would pop up when I needed him, but I didn't know where he was, and he would live someplace else, and we didn't know where he was at that time. He wouldn't tell us. And so one time he did pop up when I was moving out of the place. He popped up, I think, and he was helping me move out of the place with my mom and my brother and everybody, and it was something like that. I don't remember everything, but or they were moving some new things in too that I wanted, or something like that happened. I forgot, but I remember he said, Desiree, you can be anybody you want. Who do you want to be? I said, I want to be Ashanti, because I thought I made that name up. But my husband told me that Ashanti already existed, and that she has done her own videos and things like that. I said, how could I miss her? How could I not know she was doing anything? I was convinced that I was Ashanti. And then I found out I had to get the hard-breaking, cold, cold facts that she was Ashanti, and she had times of music that went on that somehow I didn't find out. I must have been in the hospital and they didn't let me hear it or something. And I found out that she had been with her mother. She had been doing things, unless it was like same thing like Tony Braxton did with me, and stole it from right up under me. I don't know, but I like I like Ashanti. I like her voice. I like her style. You know, then I started to say I'm not supposed to be interested in fabulous things, like the way she spends so much money. She spends so much money, and I'm saying, oh my God, I'm supposed to have a feelings for have natural affection for the poor, and for the widows and the orphans. And if I'm up here spending all this money on myself, what am I doing for the poor? Maybe she helps the poor too. I don't know, but she sure does spend a lot of money on herself, and so does a lot of people. Mary J. Blige does too, and Janet Jackson would spend a lot of money putting into her albums and her music. She spent a lot. A lot of these performers spend a lot of money in their music and their things for themselves. But I said, that's why I have this going on in my head. It goes back and forth. I say, Desiree, you listen to the music, but then you turn around and you say, you're one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and you're not doing well because you keep desiring to be like them. You want to be out there in performing. You want to get involved in the world, and it keeps coming up into your heart. And I say, I got to get this out of my heart because I know Jehovah doesn't want me to do this. So anyway, I was going to say that, yes, my children, now they say something about, I heard something on my phone that said, it just said it. I read it. It said, we are sorry to announce that Janet Jackson rest in peace or something like that. They did the same thing with Diana Ross, and I said, Diana Ross is supposed to be dead. I said, so my mother said, no, honey, they would have it on the news. She's a big star. They would have it on the news, and it would be all over the place if she was dead. She said, don't trust YouTube. And I said, I don't know. I keep seeing all these different people that they say died. Why would they put it on there and get away with? How would they get away with it unless they were all in on it to do that? That could have been true that they were all in on it to do it. Anyway, also I wanted to say that, I have my husband, Michael Jackson. When he was Michael Jackson, I think he knew, because my dad, I think he told him about things that I was going to do. I have a killer whale, not just one killer whale, but I've shown the House of Representatives, the Senate, and the White House these whales, and they came in the area when I was living with my dad and my mom and my sister and my brother on Lottie Harris Street near the Dara Heights and Slauson and Overhill. And it was in Inglewood, and we lived in this place. I forgot the number where we lived. We didn't stay there too long, but it had a pool, it had a nice place. It was not very, had been run over by people that partied all the time, and you could tell they had really wrecked the place down. It was needed a lot of repairs, but we moved in there anyway for some reason. And this killer whale came one time after I prayed to Jehovah and asked him to make it the way I asked him to make it. I saw him outside my window, and he looked like a shamu, flying shamu. It was a big shamu outside my window in the backyard. And I said, look. I said, that's what I prayed for. That's what I prayed for. I went outside. My daddy was in the rumpus room, and he comes out and says, don't be careful, Desiree. You don't know if it's friend or foe. I said, I know it's my friend because I prayed for this guy. I prayed for this, it wasn't my God, but it was like a warrior. It was like a backup because it knew my name. It talked to me. It showed me. It came. I touched my fingers on its nose when it came toward me, and it touched me, and it said something about Desiree. I'm here to back Desiree up, and it was flying. It knows how to be the size of a fist. a size of a fist, a human fist, and it expands as big as a room. As this room, it be as big as this room. And when he expands quickly. And when he can open his mouth up and chew steel. Now I'm not saying just metal. I mean steel. He can chew steel in its bare mouth and spit it out. And the reason why I know that happened for sure is because when my mother and my baby brother grew up after being in that house. My baby brother had gone through some things with some friends of the family. They turned on my baby brother in a kingdom hall, and my baby brother was only like 2 years old, and he got raped by the girls. The girls were raping him. They were having intercourse with him in the kingdom hall bathroom, and they were doing this, and he had hemorrhoids, and he was screaming to the top of his lungs. And I said, why is he screaming to the top of his lungs, And they said, come on, Desiree. They said, you can do it too. And they wanted me to get up there and have intercourse with him. I said, I wasn't going to do that. I said, no. And then they made it look so good. I said, maybe it was good. And then I acted like I might be getting ready to do it. And then I said, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. He's screaming too hard, And then nobody was coming. It was like people at that time, they had a spell on the people or something and kept them from coming into the bathroom. So then I told my sister, I said, I'm going to go get Mom and Dad. And she said, I'll get them. And then she went out. I think she said she'd get him, and she went out and she came back with my dad. My dad came in there and took one of the girls that were on him. I believe it was Deborah. Took one of the girls that were on him, went in the bathroom stall and did something with her, and she was laughing. She was cracking up. I was wondering, why is she cracking up at my dad? Anyway, so then my mother comes in, and she says, give me my son. And so then they gave her son. And they left out, and some people called the girls out. I think it was their family that called the girls out. And the girls that I had grown up with, we would go places, go over to each other's house. We would do all kinds of stuff with each other. And with Campbell, Bernard Campbell, the one that had beat me up when I was pregnant with his baby in Pasadena, we would go swimming in Pasadena Park. And I don't know if that was the name of the park, but it was in Pasadena. And we would go there it's summertime, and we go and we play, and we everything. And he happened to come into the park woman's restroom, where I was supposedly taking a shower from getting out of the swimming pool, and he beat me up right then and there. They saw him beat me up. They said, "Oh my God, he's beating the mess out of Desiree," and they said she looks pregnant. And then they said she is pregnant, and he's beating her up. They said, well, and somebody tried to stop him for a little while. Some people started trying to stop him, and then they were trying to hit him, but he was beating up at them. And then they stopped and left, and then he came back, and then when he was banging me all over the water faucets and everything. He was beating me up bad. I was saying, why is he like this? He's never like this. He's nice and sweet and kind to me, and he's doing this to me. And I didn't understand why he was doing it. I really don't know why, but he did, and I was pregnant. And it happened that the woman that he ended up marrying later on, who was one of my mother's best friends, she opened up my stomach, and she gave me a cesarean, and she took the baby, and they took the baby, and then she stitched me back up. And I said, oh my God, this hurts. It hurts bad. It was her stitching. She took her time to stitch me up. I said, where is my mother at this time? I didn't know where she was. She was nowhere around. And then they took the child, and he said, you better not look for this child, or something like that. You better forget this child, or the child is going to die, or something like that. So I had to do that. I did what they told me to do, and I said, what happened? Why? And I said, where were you guys? What happened? And they said, Desiree, we don't want to talk. I don't want to hear nothing from any of you. Just be quiet. And we had to go home, and we were quiet in the car and stuff like that. And I think some of the girls, they went with somebody else that was part of the group that we had gone there with. They got to their cars and went home with them and everything like that. Anyway, that's when times were very hard when I was a teenager growing up. But anyway, I have to say all this. When I was in Lottie Harris Street, we were living in Lottie Harris. There were all kinds of killer whales flying around in the area. They were not in water; they were in the air, and they were flying around. And I was saying, Jehovah, please, thank you for doing this. Please back me up. And then I started, and my mother showed me a scripture that says something about if you start to beat your fellow slaves, and you're saying, my master is delaying, and start to beat your fellow slaves and drink with the confirmed drunkards, then your master will come in a day that you do not know and that you do not expect, and he will punish you with the greatest of sincerity. She told me about that then. I said, you know what? She's saying this now that she thinks she might afraid that I might try and attack her. But she told me that. And then later on, I think they later on is when they hung me on the cross in a torture state, and I was so scared. I didn't dare bring my wells out at her at first because I knew that scripture, what it said. But the thing is, I'd get angry, and sometimes I'm telling myself this, and I'm putting this on the videos, because if I get angry at somebody, I just might have them get hurt by my wells. And Jehovah's not going to stop me. He's going to do whatever I want to do, whatever I ask for. He's going to do it unless he said it already that he's not going to do it, because he doesn't go against his word. But I told this was way before I ever went to Harborview House, and this was years before, more than 15 years ago, more than 20 years ago, really, I believe. And I had showed the whales into. I asked God to when I was watching the movie, TV. I was watching TV, watching the House of Representatives, watching the Senate, watching the White House, and things like that. And I said, God, put one of them in there and make them as small as a fist and make them fly around in the room. They can fly so fast that you can barely see. You'll see a black thing go past, and it would have been one of them that went past your face, and you didn't see them because they can go so fast. They can go as fast as a hummingbird, really, and then they can stay and hum up and stay in position in the air. And then they live out in outer space is where they live. And I had to do this because this woman named Angelique McFarland, who's dead now, she's dead, and she died at 30 years old because she died of natural causes. I was thinking that was really strange how she died of natural causes. My mother said, people died, Desiree. And I said, but that was natural causes, and she was only 30-something years old. She said, well, I said, well, I'm not that. I didn't tell her this. I didn't tell my mother this, but I was so happy that she was dead because she had been trying to get me to blaspheme. She's the reason why my mother, after Barry White had ran me over when I was a teenager, he ran me over and raped me in Inglewood twice. And then I got up and started walking. My dad saw it and my sister saw it, and they said, walk that way. And I started walking toward Bob's Big Boy, toward Crenshaw. Not Bob's Big Boy, to Ralph's grocery store. I think it was called Ralph's or Vaughn's or something like that. And it was right there on Manchester and Market. Not Manchester Market, on Manchester and Crenshaw, I think it was. And or Crenshaw, Manchester and 8th Avenue or something like that. I forgot, but it was near Crenshaw. Crenshaw comes through the country. And anyway, so I was walking up toward there, and as I saw her car, her mother was driving the car, I believe. she ran me over. She ran me over a third time. I was ran over right after each time over again. I had asked God to please make me the strongest person, or the strongest person that would ever go through persecution, be able to go withstand persecution, and be able to have children, as many children as Michael wanted me to. I have 27 kids that has come out of my soul that I've had helped me, and that might be missing some of them because it's hard for me to remember. I have to go back in time and try and go back in my mind and try and remember giving birth to all of them and remember the ones that I knew that I had had. I had at least 27 kids, and people don't believe me, and they say, Desiree, how many kids did you say you had? I said, I don't tell nobody no more because they don't believe me. They really believe I'm mentally ill. I'm saying these people just don't know that God is coming. His kingdom is coming, and this is the last days, and these things that are happening are proving that we are in the last days. Look, there's a flag too. The flag. I live in America. I live in California. The things I say in people's dreams, the people say in people's dreams, they actually have it where they can hear it in all over the world. They hear my mind and see what people see in my life in their dreams. They see it in all over the world, and they hear it in their language, and they hear it in their dialect. And I ask God to do that for me, because I feel like I want to be heard. The Bible says something about shout to the mountaintops. I said, well, who's shouting to the mountaintops? I said, I want to be able to help Jehovah with what he was done because I'm one of his witnesses. I want to be able to help. And when I start, the Bible says check and see if an expression is correct. Check, practice, see something, check and see if it's correct, because some people add and some people subtract from the Bible. Well, some people add and subtract from the Bible, and so I'm saying, okay, well, I'll try this because I don't know. I really don't feel like I'm not one of his witnesses, because it says those who indulge in dreams are not my people. That's what it says in the Bible. So because it says that, I have to hurry up and try. Well, not be anxious, but try and find out for myself if it's the truth, because we're all supposed to have the same train of thought. Jehovah's Witnesses have the same train of thought. We believe in the same thing. If we're not believing in the same thing, we're not part of Christ. We're not part of Christ, and we're not part of Jehovah, because we have Jehovah and Jesus Christ. They work as one. They believe in the same thing. And Jesus Christ always believes what his Father wants and does what his Father wants. So that's how that is. But I wanted to say, know people that I love people, and that even though my mother persecuted me and hung me on the cross in the torture stake, she did that with my brother. They hung me on the cross in this torture stake, and they did it twice, one after the other. And even though they did that, she just came to visit me yesterday. She brought me some things. She brought me some food, and my brother was here, and they took my boxes, and there's more. The boxes are gone from there. The boxes are gone, and I just have this stuff here. I need my bed done. I have some boxes up there, right there on the closet, and everything. And this is my bathroom. The door is closed, but that's my bathroom. I live in a small place, but I'm blessed to have this place. I know some people don't have nothing, and I'm so blessed, to have it. I'm blessed to live here and have the benefits that the country gives me. I'm blessed to do that too. I love that I'm living in a place where they give me benefits, where they help me. I thank Jehovah for it, but there's somebody here. It's just somebody else that he works here. Anyway, the people that work here go around in this area. You don't see too many people that visit here going through this area because of where it is on the building. But anyway, I was saying that I feel so blessed. I help everybody that I can help. I try and help everybody that I love. I try and help Everybody that does me right, I feel so blessed. I treasure everybody that treats me so kind. And that's the way I am. I'm a loving person and I forgive a lot. I feel a lot because Jehovah's Witnesses are like this. Jehovah's Witnesses are taught to forgive and forget. And most of them have a very loving attitude. They love their brothers and sisters. They love their neighbors. They love their enemies. They love everyone. And they try and obey God's laws. And I'll tell you, one proof of that is when President Bush came to the Long Beach convention, district convention we were having, and he told me to try and get everyone to vote for him because he wants to be king. So the Bible says something about there's going to be a king that's going to arise, and this is before they turn on Jehovah's Witnesses, and they're gonna turn on Jehovah's Witnesses, and we know, we study Matthew chapter 24. We know all this stuff is gonna happen. We study from the Bible from Genesis to Revelation just about every year. I've studied many times, even though I don't read too good. I need to read my Bible more. I have to do that more. That's one thing I got to do, and I have to pray to Jehovah to please help people stop putting me under spells. I know He's powerful. He's most powerful. There's nothing that can override Him. Nothing. If He wants to take delight in doing whatever He wants to take delight in doing, I feel that's what He deserves, because He's the one that caused everything that ever exists. Everyone's happiness comes from Him, and He's wanting it to happen. He wants it to happen. He even says, don't you laugh at a wicked man's calamity, because He wants His wicked people to change. He does not force us to serve Him, though. If you want to serve Him, it's because you desire to serve Him, because you love Him for what He's done for you. You love Him for, you don't realize everything that good in your life has come from Him, and everything you've done He's given you the power to do, because He loves you, and He loves me, and He loves everyone, and He wants us to love each other. If we say we love God and we hate our brother, then we're a liar, the Bible says, because Jehovah, no one loves God who they cannot see, and hate their brother, and love their brother who they can see, and hate and love their God who they cannot see, because Jehovah's invisible to us. But that's all I'm going to have to say for right now. Oh, there goes some other people. I don't know who these. Oh, I think one of them's Choka. One of them looks like Choka, and I don't know who that is. It looked like Choka and Romel, or Gorgeous. He tells me to call him Gorgeous. He's the one that told me that he's Michael Jackson and that he wants me since I've been here. But they get mad at me. They get mad at me when I start talking about Jehovah, because they don't really want to take to Jehovah. Well,